Hello! I thought we'd do one of these kind of videos. Have a look at the video gaming manual from Haynes. Do you remember the Haynes manuals? I remember my dad had a manual for every car he had over the years. But any video game themed book, magazine, that kind of thing, I'm all over that. I do love I love the tactile nature of a book. It's very important. I'm not involved with digital magazines or anything else. I need to have a tangible product at the end of my fingertips, if that makes sense. So I thought we'd have a look at this. This is not really that serious. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's a good little book nonetheless. It covers more or less everything. It's a few years old now, so I don't know how far back it goes, if I'm honest. What we'll try and do is get it all in shot, if we can. And hopefully it's not too dark in here. So quite a bizarre, well, quite a wide array of consoles there and computers, which is interesting. I take it that's an Atari ST there. So this was before, obviously, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Not very good quality paper though. It's got quite, the resolution on the photographs and everything else is good, but the paper quality itself could have been better. So it gives you like a brief overview, history wise. That's got to be Colin McRae. That's got to be Dirt, I think, there. Also goes into some detail in the arcades. We've still got a Daytona multiplayer machine in our local arcade on the seafront. Zelda. So it breaks it up into decades, so the 1990s, the 2000s. And it doesn't take itself, the writing style, it doesn't take itself too seriously. But it touches on all the main points. That must be the PlayStation 1, the Net Euros. I always thought it was black and not blue. Or maybe that's just a standard development kit, I don't know. Who remembers the iPad? Resident Evil, what's that? 5? Yeah, it's good. It's good to collect. It's good to collect these odd kind of publications, and they're not in print for that long. You know, nothing beats it sometimes, just having to lie down on the couch, you know, getting out an old magazine or something, or a book, and leafing through that. I mean, I can't be bothered to sit there on an iPad or something. Video gaming basics, past, present. Mario Kart. Mario Kart, surely the best racer ever made and best multiplayer game. I've come across a couple of people over the years that didn't like Mario Kart, and you know what, I can't understand that, especially if you're a gamer and have been a gamer for years. Looks like we've got different variations region wise. Some kind of headset there. I suppose that's for the 360. I nearly bought one of those headsets, but the wiring on them was really awkward. Different styles of connections. Component, composite, HDMI's there. RF. I don't mind a bit of RF. That's how I play my Atari. I've got no intentions of doing any kind of modifications to my Atari 2600. Obviously a bit on the controllers. There's the multi-tap. And there's the PS1 version. God, I completely forgot what that looked like. I remember that. And I can't think of the game now. Evolution of the PlayStation controller. Very interesting how that has stayed the same over the years. ZX Spectrum gets a look in. Red Dead Redemption. This is all, restoring stuff, cleaning stuff up. I've no idea what this is. What's this all about? Oh, it's a voltage, a converter thing. Yeah. Some information on keeping these old systems going. 2600. I must try and get Excite Bike 64. I don't have that. Oh, the VCS gets its own. It's obviously going to get its own chapter. Amazing console that was, absolutely amazing. It just started me on the road to gaming, if I'm honest. I'm really struggling to turn these pages over. Spectrum, unusual choice really. I wouldn't have expected to see any computers in here. ZX81, and it came really close to getting one of those when I was a kid. That's so realistic, that rifle. Stack light rifle. You'd get yourself shot now if you were carrying that. Key Spectrum titles, so it's quite good. Each chapter gives you some background of the hardware and then some suggestions for like key titles. Commodore 64, I had that version. I also had the bread bin version, the first one. I don't know, I'm trying to think why I had two different versions. I think my first one must have packed up or something. I really must get around to collecting for the 64. Well, I need to get a new Commodore really, because the sound has completely gone on my one. And someone's done a repair on it. They've done like a couple of jumper wires on the board. And I just cannot work out what they've done. Acorn Electron. This is why I quite like this book, because it's kind of weird. You know, you would not expect to see an Acorn Electron in this book. Well, that's my opinion. The Acorn Electron, did it share some kind of architecture with the BBC Micro? NES, wasn't really an NES person. A good friend of mine got an NES. I remember when I went over to his house one night and he was playing Mario, and his sister was addicted to Tetris. But I was still holding on to my Commodore 64. So it wasn't until the 16-bit console era came in that I got back into consoles. Key NES titles, Super Mario Brothers 3. That's an amazing game. That's one of those games really late in the NES life that really pushed the machine. I must get a copy of that. I don't mind getting it loose because I've still got my NES. Sega Master System, I had no time for that, if I'm honest. Master System titles. So they've got Sonic the Hedgehog there. There might be some background noise in the game room, that's because I've got the door open. because I'm fortunate enough to have the day off, but I'm waiting for a parcel for the missus. So you know what's going to happen. It's probably going to deliver any minute now in the middle of this video. Atari ST. I came very close to getting an Atari ST. It must have been something to do with my brand loyalty. That was a debate that raged for years. Atari ST against the Amiga. Good old fanboy war that went on continuously in playgrounds. Amiga. Key Amiga titles. Syndicate. That came out on the Atari Jaguar. That's a really good game. Lemmings. Oh, Flashback. I forgot that. Obviously these all came from the Amiga. Cannon Fodder. It's all coming back to me now. God, the Amiga had some amazing titles. NES PC Engine. I know nothing about it, because it would have been an import. And I really didn't care for the import scene, if I'm honest. Key PC Engine titles. Ah, the Mega Drive. The good old Mega Drive. My first entry into 16-bit gaming. Yeah, I did get the Mega Drive first, and I got the SNES. And then from then on I pretty much got everything when it came out. Never got the 32X though. I got the Mega CD, so I've got the Mark 1 model for both. Mega Drive titles. Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog. That was a great weekend when I got that on launch. I mean, obviously being a really old man and nearly 50, it's, you know, I was working, so I used to just buy these things on launch, even back then. The SNES. Such quality on the SNES, wasn't there? The actual console itself was nice and tidy and seemed to be built really well. Key SNES titles. Ah, here we go. I recently picked that up, and only a few weeks ago I went through the entire game again. I could just play that for hours. I do have that. I want Super Mario World, but for some reason it's really expensive now. And there's no way I'm paying £10–20 for a loose cartridge. Multi-format titles. Just going to grab a drink, hang on. Ah, Sega Saturn. Excuse me. I came really close to buying a Sega Saturn. I was in, I think it was Virgin or HMV in Kingston in London, South London. And I went in there, we were in there, me and a friend were in there, and obviously I wasn't up to date with what was coming out and everything else, and on this monitor they were running a demo version of Tomb Raider, because people often forget, you know, Tomb Raider was out on the Saturn first of all, way before the PlayStation 1, and I went up to the kiosk, the Sega Saturn, like them kiosk things, and I started to play this Tomb Raider. I was completely blown away. Absolutely blown away. I mean, I was aware of the PS1 coming out, and I'd got a good idea of the games that I wanted. But when I first got my hands on the Saturn and played Tomb Raider, I just couldn't believe it. And I came really close to picking up a Saturn on launch. And the only reason why I didn't, it was because I think I'd heard in a magazine or something that Tomb Raider was going to be on the PlayStation 1 as well. Things like that for Sega were really costly. Knights, I really didn't get in. I didn't really get the hype about that. I think another problem with Sega is all the arcade conversions. Arcade games are good, but they're arcade games for a reason, and they don't translate very well to the front room. Key Saturn titles. The PlayStation. Seminal moment for me. The PlayStation 1 is up there with the Atari 2600 as far as I'm concerned. I spent a fortune on that console and all the games over the years. And that's got like my original, the separate audio out. I really would like a launch machine, and because the menus and everything else are different. Be interesting to see their key titles for the PlayStation. Ape Escape, I don't have that. I really want to get that back. Devil Dice. Quite an unusual choice. I'd like to get International Track and Field again. Me and a few friends had some right laughs with that back in the day. Unusual selection there. I wouldn't class that as the most obvious, but there you go. N64. I bought an N64 shortly after it was released. I mean, when I think back, I must have had so much more disposable income. I was self-employed back then as well, and I just on a whim, I just walked into, I think it was Curry's Superstore, just picked up an N64 and about 3 or 4 games, and I did that. I'll never forget that, because my sister had moved house and she'd moved really far away. And my brother-in-law was in the forces, and I went down to the new house with her to do some jobs and everything else to help her out, and they had virtually nothing down there, and I said, have you got a TV down there? She said, yeah, we've got like a small portable in one of the spare rooms. There was nothing in this place, and I got really fond memories of the N64 because I ended up buying that, literally walked out of Curry's, got back in the car, carried on down to my sister's new house, and in the evening I was playing the N64 on this tiny portable TV, and of course I was playing Mario 64. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. But I don't hold the machine in high regard, I really don't. Graphically, they cut too many corners. The decision to use cartridges rather than discs, everything about the machine would seem to be a collection of mistakes as far as I'm concerned. GoldenEye, all these games. So Super Mario 64, Pilot Wings I've got. Never played that, didn't really like the look of it. I've got GoldenEye. Yeah, Body Harvest I never got around to. I take it Paper Mario, you'd have to be a millionaire now to buy a copy of that. Key multi-format titles. We've got there's Tomb Raider. Resident Evil. Yeah, of course, Resi came out on the Saturn. I don't think Resi came out on the N64. It was Resident Evil 2 that came out, and it was ridiculously priced. Wipeout 2097, it's an amazing game. Dreamcast, I got the Dreamcast on launch as well. Great memories of this, of going online and playing with it. And I was living in Liverpool when I bought this. I can't think of the name of the racetrack near Liverpool. My God, it's escaped me now. But anyway, I had to go and get my car serviced. Aintree, that's it, Aintree. I think it's Aintree, which is a bit of a drive outside Liverpool. And I went to get my car serviced, and while I was waiting, I was like, there's like this this commercial industrial estate type thing. While I was waiting, I went over to, again, it was like Curry's or something like that, or Dixon's, and I bought myself a Dreamcast with a couple of games. Again, dropping hundreds of quid everywhere picking this stuff up over the years. I had the keyboard as well. I don't know what happened to the keyboard. Yeah, some nice titles here. Shenmue, one of the best games ever made. I really don't understand people that might have a Dreamcast but don't have that. A few of these are kind of that was a laugh online. Choo Choo Rocket. I'll tell you what was really good was Quake 3 Arena online. It was amazing, and it used to run really smooth. PS2, you know what I'm going to say. Did I have it on launch? Yeah. And for quite some time my PlayStation 2 was just sitting there gathering dust for that first year, simply because I was using the Dreamcast more, and people forget that initial early period there was a real lack of decent games, because I don't think there was a Gran Turismo on launch. GTA 3 took its time to come out as well, so I was using it pretty much as a DVD player. Got the slim version there. Key PS2 titles. That Fantavision, that was hard, that. I've recently picked that up. I still can't bloody play it. Vice City. God, Vice City is probably one of the best ones for me. Although my son really got into, what was the last one? San Andreas. GameCube. I love the GameCube. Build quality again, so solid, such quality. Again, I reserved this. This was also, I bought this as well when I was living in Liverpool. So I bought this, I had this reserved, but unfortunately it was the purple one. I don't know how that, I've got no idea how that happened. I ended up with a purple one. Great games on this. Luigi's Mansion, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Not to mention the Resident Evil reboots. Resi 1 and Resi 0. I'd like to play that. Eternal Darkness. Super Mario Sunshine, I never finished that. I must try and get a copy of that, get that back in the collection. That's gone up in price. Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, I'll absolutely love them. Pikmin is really weird. It's a franchise I always wanted to play, and for some reason I just never got around to picking them up. I've recently played the demo version on the Wii U. Resi 4 took Resident Evil in a completely different direction. Some people dislike it for that, but I thought it was a great experience. Key multi-format titles. Again, you need to be a millionaire nowadays to buy Res on the Dreamcast. I've got it on PS2, I think. Burnout franchise. Now the Warriors. I must get the Warriors. I'm hoping you can get it on the Xbox original. You must be able to, yeah? I'd rather that than have it on the PlayStation 2. Xbox 360, for me, the third seminal moment in my gaming history. Now, funnily enough, it took me a while to get one of these. I think my life at the time when this came out was all over the place, quite busy and everything else. I had to drop out of gaming entirely for quite some time. Just didn't have the time at all. But eventually I got one. And my first one died of the Ring of Death, unfortunately. still use the 360 now. Key titles. Fable 2 was good. Trials HD. Oh, Mass Effect. I'd like to try and play Mass Effect on the Xbox One. Play it again, the series, see if there's been any improvements. Bioshock, I've recently got the multi-pack, so it's got all the Bioshock games updated for the Xbox One. Nintendo Wii, I stayed out of this. I avoided this. I do have a Wii now, and unfortunately I've got the revised Wii, so it's not backwards compatible, but I avoided this. My nephew had one. Yeah, that's the one where you can plug in the controllers. Wii Fit board. I've played one Zelda game on the Wii and I really enjoyed it. I think it was called Skyward Sword. So, but I want to be careful not to buy like this, for example, because if it's been updated on the Wii U, then I might as well go down that road. Ah, look, Punch Out. I didn't realise that was on the Wii. PlayStation 3. I wasn't really interested. I picked up PlayStation 3 really late. In fact, I picked it up so late. I picked up the Slim version, not the third one, the very first Slim. So it's still got the front loading disc. And looking up on my game shelves, I don't have a lot. I don't have a great deal for the PS3. And as yet, I don't have a PlayStation 4. Key titles. I think I've got Flower on a multi-disc. Wipeout HD is amazing. It brought in this new dynamic where you can turn the vehicle around. Can't explain it, but it was a new mode. Uncharted, I think I've played all them. I think I've got the third one to play. Metal Gear Solid 4. It's really weird. I loved the very first game, Metal Gear, but I've not played any of the sequels. To resolve that one day, I suppose. Key multi-format titles. Dead Space. Still haven't played that. The orange box I've got. Yeah, I finished Portal, and I can't think of the name of it now. Can't think of the second game that's in that box, the orange box, that I'm really looking forward to playing. Mirror's Edge, I do have that. Grand Theft Auto 4. GTA 4 I thought was really downbeat and quite depressing, quite gritty. Recommended titles. I'll definitely recommend that. And that's it, I think. FIFA 10. I don't mind FIFA games, but I'll pick a FIFA game up about once every 5 years. They're just the same. I don't take football seriously, so I'm always amazed at FIFA how they seem to fly off the shelves when they're released. You know, a top price as well, £40 to £50. Fight Night Round 4. I don't know what number I've got, but I'm looking forward to playing that. That was good. Tomb Raider Underworld. Funnily enough, my son's playing that at the moment. For some reason it was on Xbox Live Gold as a freebie. But that's that. That is that. The Haynes Video Gaming Manual. I don't know if it's still available, still in print or anything else, but that's a nice little addition to the like the little gaming library, if you like. But that's half an hour I've kept you. I do apologise. It was supposed to be shorter than that. But you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.